Good to see you all. I am your friend, this course instructor, Farhan, and we are going to share our knowledge on a very important field of study, and that is statistics and probability. Now, starting with statistics first, we need to know what is statistics. Now let's start with the basic concepts of statistics. And today we are going to discuss what is statistics, what is data, what are the different types of data, and then we are going to further increment our concept in such a way that we can develop a concrete understanding of statistics. Coming to the definition of statistics, just think about the real world. You are all sitting in the real world. And you're all confronted with some sort of data. Statistic is the field of study which is related to collection of data, organization of data, interpretation of data, analysis of data, and drawing conclusions from data. And yes, one very important thing, presentation of data. Data with which we are confronted with is in different types. We have got two major types of data in front of us. One, it is the qualitative data, and the other, it is the quantitative data. Now, qualitative data is related to our characteristics, our features. For example, we can say today it's a hot weather. This is qualitative data. Today it's going to be very cold. It's qualitative data. Somebody is fair in color. That is qualitative data. Coming to the quantitative data, it's 35.6 degrees centigrade. Now that is quantitative data. I scored 15 marks in my quiz. That is quantitative data. I have got 15 class fellows. Now that is quantitative data. So now it's very clear to us that what is qualitative data and what is quantitative data. Now, data can be further decomposed into three further, and those three further types are categorical data, discrete data, and continuous data. Now, categorical data is like qualitative data, the data which is distinguishable. For example, there are people who have blood group as O positive, and then there are people who are having A positive blood group, and then there are people who are having A negative blood group. Now, this A positive, O positive, A negative, this is representing categorical data. Coming to the other type of data, and which is discrete data. Now, when we are talking about discrete data is we are talking about whole numbers, concrete numbers. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on. But finite in nature. Those numbers are going to finish somewhere. For example, you are giving a quiz, and that quiz is of 20 points. So the marks that you are going to get in that quiz are not going to exceed from 20. The marks are going to be, somebody will be taking 6 marks, 7 marks, 8 marks, 10 marks. Somebody will be getting 20 marks. But it is not expectable that in a quiz of 20 marks, somebody is going to get 21 marks. Or it's going to be infinite. So when we are talking about discrete data is finite in nature. There is another characteristic of discrete data, and that is that in discrete data, there are going to be intervals between the data. Now, what type of intervals? Somebody scoring 5 points. Somebody scoring 6 points. Somebody scoring 7 points. Now, you can see that data interval. When somebody is getting 5 points and somebody is getting 6 points, there is an interval of 1 point. Whereas when we are talking about continuous data, you will not find the interval between the data. The data will be in the continuous form. For example, 35.5 degrees centigrade temperature, and then the next range is going to start from 35.5 to 40 degrees centigrade, and then the next range is going to start from 40 degrees centigrade to 45 degrees centigrade. So this is basically continuous data. So once we are knowing that we are going to be confronted with categorical data, discrete data, and then continuous data. Now it's time to let's think about presenting the data. How to present the data. Now just look at this sheet in which I have mentioned the numbers obtained by students in some sort of a quiz or an exam. Now, if you just evaluate this data set, you can easily reach to the point that this is discrete data, as it is concrete, as it is a whole number, and it is going to be finite in nature. So this is discrete data. But one problem that I am just observing over here is, what is this just collection of numbers over here? I cannot infer anything from these numbers. Can you infer anything from these numbers? 100% you are not able to infer, or you are not able to summarize this data. We need to bring this data in some particular shape. To bring this data in a shape, we need to take support from the concept of frequency distribution. Now, frequency distribution is what? Frequency distribution is just putting the data in some tabular or a graphical format. Today we are going to learn about putting this data in a tabular format. And the frequency distribution that today we are going to see is simple frequency distribution. Now, how to construct simple frequency distribution in tabular format? For that, you can observe that in this data, there are, if you count the data elements, you can see that there are 30 data elements in this particular data set, which means that these are marks of 30 students. And now we want to represent this data in a tabular format. The first step in constructing a simple frequency distribution is to arrange the data, organize the data. We are going to organize this data in ascending order, which means we will be finding out what is the lowest value in this data set and what is the highest value in this data set. And then we are going to organize that data from the lowest value to the highest value, so that we will be able to infer that how many students got 15 marks, how many students got 36 marks, how many students got 38 marks, how many students got 13 marks. Now that will be something from where we can be drawing many conclusions. Now just look at it. What I have done is I have organized the data in ascending order. And while doing so, I have placed all the data elements in the ascending order, irrespective that whether some data element is repeating itself or not. Now you can see in the data set that 2 students in the class scored 15 points. So what I did, I placed 15, then 15 in this representation of my data. And you can also see that 3 students scored 32 points. And I placed 32, 32, 32. So I have placed the data in order of its occurrence and also in ascending order. You can observe this in the chart of data, the organized chart of data that is coming right now on the screen. Now from this screen, from this chart, I'm going to develop a table. It's going to be the table that in which there are going to be 2 columns. One column will be related to data and the other column will be related to the frequency of data. Now, frequency refers to what? Frequency is the occurrence of each data element that is appearing in this data set. For example, those students who secured 5 marks, those are 2 students I have stated, then frequency 2. Similarly, those students who have scored 32 points, those are 3 students. And you can observe in this table that I have placed those 32. Now I'm not stating 32, 32, 32. But what I'm doing is I'm mentioning 32 one time, and then in the frequency, I'm mentioning the number of occurrence of 32, which is 3 in this case. So when we are constructing a simple frequency distribution, we have achieved that we have organized the data in a tabular form. But still, it's not the end, because still you can see this is a whole long list. And we are not able still to just summarize the data. And when we are observing this list, it is giving us some clue about the data, but it is still not very representable. Why it is not very representable? Because we have organized the data in an ungrouped fashion. And this is the reason we are calling this frequency distribution as simple frequency distribution. We need to transform the status of this frequency distribution from ungrouped to grouped frequency distribution. And what is going to be grouped frequency distribution? We are going to cover this in our next segment. Keep watching our series, The World of Statistics and Probability, on the channel Knowledge Hub. If you think that this segment was of benefit to you, do subscribe to our channel. And if you think that this segment was of value to you, do like this segment. And if you think that many others can also benefit from this series, do share this video segment.